Systems is where it's at. And as my attorney always says, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So Kim actually talks about the systems that she utilizes to keep her business going. And after 20 years of being in the real estate business, it's definitely some good advice that you could take. So tune in and take a listen. Hello, fellow mompreneurs. Welcome to the Real Moms Podcast, the go-to space for resilient entrepreneurs who are striving for abundant living. I'm your host, Shay Spitz, a mompreneur and a realtor here in Columbus, Nebraska. Are you a mom juggling the hustle of entrepreneurship, family life, and personal growth? Well, you're in the right place. On this podcast, we dive deep into the real, unfiltered stories of incredible women who are navigating the journey of mompreneurship. We'll celebrate the victories, share practical insights, and acknowledge that it's okay to face challenges along the way. Success isn't about the destination. It's about the journey and the growth we experience as we balance our careers and the chaos of family life. Whether you're a seasoned mompreneur or just starting on this exciting path, join me and our amazing guests as we explore what it truly means to be a resilient entrepreneur striving for abundant living. Get ready for real, raw, and remarkable conversations that will inspire and uplift you. Because here at the Real Moms Podcast, we believe in the power of community, authenticity, and the strength that comes from embracing the journey together. So grab your coffee, find a cozy spot, and let's dive into the world of mompreneurship. This is the Real Moms Podcast, where we celebrate the hustle, honor the struggle, and thrive as resilient entrepreneurs living abundantly. Welcome to another episode of Real Moms Podcast. I like to start every podcast off with a motivational quote, and today's quote is, "You only live once, but if you do it right, that's enough." And that's by Mae West. So today I have the honor of introducing Kim Leal as a leading Bay Area realtor with an extensive background in marketing, sales, and technology. Kimberly Leal acknowledges that achieving homeownership in one of the country's most dynamic marketplaces is no small feat. With over 45 years of living, working, and contributing to some of Silicon Valley's most recognized industries, including technology, media, and lifestyle companies, her passion has landed exactly where her heart is, and that's right at home. For over 19 years, she has helped homeowners, buyers, and sellers of all experience levels fulfill their real estate realities and dreams. With absolute attention to detail, clear and consistent communication, firm market analysis, and integration of modern technological tools, Kimberly's perspective, patience, and passion ensure that every client gets the experience they deserve and the outcome they desire. So Kim, thank you so much for being here and taking the time out of your day to be here on our podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yes, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what your real estate journey was like.
So actually, I grew up in a family of realtors. My dad had his own real estate company, my uncle, a lot of my cousins, my mom, my brother. So I grew up in that, never thinking I would pursue it because it was a dog eat dog for sure business in the 60s and the 70s when I was growing up with my parents doing that. And so I got into advertising and marketing. And so I worked in that field for many years. And then I had my son. I was working in San Francisco, and we waited quite a while to have him. And I got my dream job as a director of advertising for a group of media. And it was not fulfilling. That's what it just wasn't fulfilling. And one of my best friends was in real estate, and she said, "Just come and check it out. You've got all the tools to do this." And I thought, "Oh, no way. I'm not getting into real estate." And she said, "Just come and shadow me." And it's just a different thing. The company I work for is a little bit different. The business model is a little different. So I did, and I showed up and went to one of their team meetings, and I saw these amazing business women with real businesses running their own business, being these successful women with children. And I thought, wow, okay, maybe I can do this. And so I took a leap of faith. I was at the top of my game in advertising, and I just said, okay, I'm done. So I took a leap of faith and I never looked back. So it'll be 20 years. My license, I have had my license 20 years in November. So
Okay,
yeah,
that is wow. That is well, and it's nice because obviously, as a realtor, marketing plays a big role, especially nowadays in
yeah.
your business and stuff. So, tell me a little bit about like how did that go with your husband and making that change? Was there any struggles, hurdles, growing pains, anything like that?
That's an interesting question. And I have to say, if you do not have a partner that is supportive of your, moving in a different direction and pivoting your career, that would be very difficult. And I have a husband who is one of my biggest cheerleaders. I was super successful in what I did before, and he had no doubt that this was going to be the same. A lot of pressure. We're a two-income family, and so expectation was get on this and start doing it because I was making a very good income, at the time. And so I knew my big why was I've got to get up and running, and I need to do this, and I need to do it quick. But there was never any concern or pushback from him. We just made it work. He's I mean he's my biggest cheerleader, so it's awesome. And then I had my family, they were like, yeah, you can do this. We've done this. And so yeah, so that's, it wasn't difficult in that I didn't have people saying, this is awesome, you're going to do great. So
Yeah, I think it's really a game changer when you have the support and when you don't have the support. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't be successful if you don't have the support. It doesn't
right.
mean you can't do it if you don't have the support. And for those who don't have the support and still have made it, like a round of applause to you because it is
Right.
significantly harder because it's tough in general, and then without the support just makes it that much harder. But it can definitely be done. And I find it interesting that I think there's a lot of people that either come from a family of realtors or you don't. And I wouldn't
Yeah.
say one or the other is better or worse.
Yeah.
And people might think, oh, well, you had a leg in it, you knew, you grew up in it. It's still, like you said, dog eat dog world. It's not like you got into real estate and all these people are like, oh, you're in real estate now. I'm going to list with you. I'm going to buy with you.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know?
Right.
And it's your own time. It's kind of you build your own business the way you want to be built. And I'm sure it's different than what your family did in their business, you know?
It is. I mean, things move along and you pivot and industry changes, technology changes, all those things. I have to say one big, huge kudos to my friend who is my mentor. And so I would have to say, and you probably agree with this, is having mentors and people that have been in your shoes to help you along the way. I would say catapults you
Yeah.
into success. I mean, if it's there, if it's in you, if you've got the drive and the motivation, and then you have the support behind you, whether it's a family support thing. I just happen to be in an office that has a lot of women entrepreneurs, and they were moms, and you could walk through and ask them anything. But my mentor was fabulous. So I'm sure you would agree because you're a mentor, and and I
Yeah.
have mentored some amazing women who are doing amazing things with their lives. So it can be done even if you don't have the support, you're single mom or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think it's very important that people have a mentor or a coach or something early on. Not
Hmm.
only early on, like
Immediately.
even,
Hmm.
yeah, immediately, but then also like as time goes and you grow. I think it's important to have a coach. Now, if you can't afford a coach, especially at first, then you need to find somebody that can basically pull you along with, who's willing to allow you to shadow them, who's willing to go on appointments and do all those things with you so you can get your feet wet. Because it's tough and overwhelming when I'll never forget my first listing appointment. I think I was sweating. I was hyperventilating. It was the craziest thing.
Scary.
It's just another day. And I'm like, okay, well, I almost sweat and hyperventilate when I don't have listing appointments, you know? But yeah, I mean it's definitely, and I think that's what I love here though too, is I want my listeners to feel comfortable reaching out to me if they have any questions and reaching out to my guests too, because we're all very like-minded where we want to help other people. We want to mentor others. There doesn't need to be a financial gain to us if somebody's just reaching out for a couple of questions, you know?
Absolutely. And we started, even if you're brand new in the business, or where you're at in your business, it didn't hurt that we started this group of these women. So I've been in the same office my entire real estate career, and most of the women that I work with within the office, we do business together, and we socialize together. But we also had like this meeting that with women who had kids, so that we could share best practices, share stories and things like that. Not so much of it as a support group, but more like, let's mastermind, and for business purposes, not a coffee clatch, but literally talk about business and how working around some things. So that's something that you could do even if you're new in the business. Just grab a bunch of your fellow women and see how they're doing it, and pick their brain.
Yeah, yeah. And I actually have a Real Moms community here in our area. Again, that this is free. But again, it was just one of those things that it's hard to relate because you get to a point where you're doing things like I have some best friends that I grew up with since little on. They are not entrepreneurs though. So
Mhm.
it's a totally different
Totally different.
conversation.
Yep.
Um, and sometimes I don't even know what to say anymore to my friends of the past. I love them. I talk to them all the time,
Yeah.
but it's not like I'm talking to them about business. And I
Right.
don't want to just sit there and talk about my kids. I love my
Right.
kids dearly, but I want to talk about more, bigger, better. What can I do more for the community, for others, and for myself and for my family? And so
Right.
it's just a different conversation that you're having. So we do have a local Real Moms community where we get together every 2 weeks. We have speakers coming in. And like you said, it's like a mastermind. And you're the sum of the top people you spend the most time with, and the books you read and the podcasts you listen to.
Absolutely. We have, in our area, we have it's a women networking for entrepreneurs, small business, singlepreneurs, or maybe, the small businesses. And it's called Women's Networking Alliance, which is probably very similar to what you have going on. And these are professionals that have their own businesses, and we share, it's a mastermind, and we have speakers, and it's about your professional universe. And it's really fabulous. It's a great networking tool for you for business, but it's not specifically to build your business. It's to share and help others with their business, and then naturally, organically, that business comes, which I feel that's my personality. I'm not, yeah. So,
Yeah, and I've always heard if you help others get where they want to go, you'll
mhm,
automatically get where you want to go. And you don't want to help others with the intention that, oh, okay, well, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. No,
right.
you really,
Mhm,
truly, wholeheartedly want to help others. And I think I had somebody
absolutely.
ask me, Shay, if there was anything that you could do aside from real estate, what would you be? And this took me a long time to answer because I love real estate. I feel like real estate's my hobby. My husband jokes that if there was a holiday named after me, I'd make everybody go to work for free. But it took me a really, really long time, like months and months and months to really think about it. And the more I realize it, I would love to just to help people in their businesses, whether it's real estate specific, but hey, like implementing systems and strategies and mindset. The mindset is the biggest thing. The mindset's the biggest thing when it comes to being an entrepreneur. Would you agree with that?
I absolutely, yes, ding, ding, ding. Absolutely. Mindset. You have to be all in. There's so many things, especially being a woman. And I mean, I love men. I have a boy. All my cousins are men. I mean, I love men. I have brothers. This is not anything that is a diss on men, but women have a different way of doing things. And we take on a lot. They are very compartmentalized, and we pull it all in. And so having a mindset of wanting to do it all, be a great mom, be a support to your family, because we are the CEOs of our families for sure, pretty
Mhm.
much.
Mhm.
And and then you're the CEO of your business. So having a mindset of positivity that you can do it. And when you feel like you're not there, having that network of people to be able to bring you back to, yeah, you can do this. You're okay. This is just a dip in the road. Don't worry about it.
hmm Yeah, and it's still, even if you have that husband, so my husband's an entrepreneur as well, but even if you have that significant other who is an entrepreneur, it's still just a different mentality on the
Right.
way we think because like
Yeah.
he works from home and I'm thinking, how is that plate from the kids this morning for breakfast still on the counter? You know what I mean? I'm like, how is it there? And how is the laundry still not like moved from the washer to the dryer? So that's why I could never work at home because my mind would just be like there and then over here. I don't know. Have you ever started doing something and you're like, oh, I need to take out the trash. So you go to take out the trash and then you realize like the garage is pretty messy. So you set the bag down and then you go to sweep the garage and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to reorganize this. So then you start, and then like
Me
an
too.
hour and a half later, you realize you absolutely got nothing done.
Yeah. Well, so funny. I was this was quite a while ago when my son was doing homework in the island in the kitchen, and I was cooking dinner. I had my laptop up. I was helping him with his homework. I was on a call with a client, and then I was doing, checking something on the internet and, doing my pot and doing this. And my husband walks in, and he's like, this is so much. I just have to turn around and walk out. It's like you're an octopus. He goes, I could never do that. I'm like, hi.
Yeah,
I go,
like
do you
do
need
what?
something? And he's like, no, just
Yeah,
keep going.
yeah. You're thinking, do what? What do you mean?
Yeah, I know.
Didn't even realize that you're doing eight things at once.
I know.
I know, but I would say that that is also a default to women in general,
Uh-huh.
is that
Absolutely.
we do procrastinate, or I'm not procrastinate. We do multitask to a default.
Yes.
And for me, especially that I try to multitask, and a lot of times I don't get things done. Just like I was telling you, for an hour and a half, I was walking around doing things, and I was like, "What did I do?" So I really have to work extra hard on like, okay, so planning my day, maybe the night or planning it the night before, and saying, "Okay, this is what I'm doing at this time. This is what I'm doing at this time." Does it always go
Absolutely.
that way? No,
No.
it doesn't. But hey, it's an attempt and it keeps me on track a little bit more.
Well, you've got a plan. So waking up
Yeah.
with a plan so the day is not hitting you in the face.
Yes.
Huge. No, absolutely. Great point there. If you don't have that plan, at least a guiding rod for the rest of your day that brings
Mhm.
you back to what you were supposed to be doing, it's very difficult. I mean, that's a great point.
Yeah, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And the planner that I have is like I have like increments of like 15 minutes on one side, and then it's got notes on the other, or like right next to it. So at least like the increments will tell me like these are the times that I need to do specific things. And then the notes are all the other things in my mind that I got to get done in between all those other appointments. Or at least an attempt to, it might
Right.
be kids stuff, getting them scheduled for doctor's appointments and eye
Right.
appointments and whatever else.
Your
So
big rocks, the things that can't be, the most important
yeah.
things. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just it's a balancing act most of the time, I feel
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how do you feel your business has gone from when you started to where you're at now?
So my business is by referral. And so what I do is nurture my database basically. So I do put in new people all the time that I meet or that come into open houses or that call me on listings and things like that. And I have a bunch of different systems that I have in place for different people. So I have a database that it's a lot of people, but I really, really only focus on probably about 100 people, and then really, really, really focus on about 35 people. And that's where I get the majority of my business. So I do get some stuff off the internet, but those are long and they're hit and miss. And, I just don't like to spend a lot of time on that, although it's appreciated. But where my focus is on my database. So that includes family and friends, and then past clients, and then other realtors. I get a lot of referrals from other realtors, and I do work with other realtors in other organizations. I don't care what organization. If they're a great person and I have more knowledge about something, they'll bring me in on something. If they have more knowledge on an area or this particular type of sale, then I will bring them in on it. Or if I'm busy, then I partner up with people too. So I work with a lot of real estate agents. And so how I do things differently. When I first started, I committed to getting my database built up from day one, and I said to my husband, all right, you're all hands on deck because I've got to build this business, knowing full well that this is going to be a crazy year, and I'm going to be working my butt off, and I'm going to be doing open houses every weekend. I'm building my database. I'm doing that. And so everybody knew what I was supposed to do. And
Mhm.
so that's what I did. I mean, I just, did open houses. I just, that's what I did. I don't do that now.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, you don't do
totally
open
different.
houses anymore?
Not very often. I don't double end transactions. I don't represent buyers on my listings. And so I would rather just have people set up in my listing in my open houses, and they are there solely to get buyers for that listing.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that works out really well for me.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your CRM. How do you keep that organized? What sort of CRM do you use?
Okay, so I have a couple different things. So I have a Brian Buffini, so I use their referral. To this day I still can't remember the name of it. It's terrible.
I've heard of it. I don't know what it's called either, but
It's referral. Anyway, so it's a database, and so I have a monthly mailer that goes out through them, and it's my like top 100.
hmm
So my company has a database management system. It's very robust, and I've never used a very robust system. I used to use another one that was just I used like this much of it. I have an assistant, a part-time assistant who kind of manages stuff for me. But so that goes in. I send out a hard like something of interest every month through Brian Buffini, and it's about just stuff like during the holidays, it's about donations, where you can donate or how you'd like to volunteer, that kind of stuff. So there's, every 6 weeks it goes out. I have also monthly email that goes out that's market trends, which is specific to Silicon Valley. And the engagement in that is unbelievable. It is
Really?
unbelievable. It's still to this day, and I have been doing it for probably 12, 15 years. It's unbelievable. It's very interactive too, so people like that.
Yeah.
And then a hard copy of that is mailed out to my top 25.
Uh-huh.
And then I have pop buys, or actually now I'm doing Client Giant, which is the mailer. They mail to your top like 25. I have top 35, and they get something every quarter, but not during holidays. So it's kind of the off
Yeah.
time, and they're like really cool things. It's not that expensive. So they get that. And then I sent note cards out all the time, like all the time. I'll call
Yeah.
them, text them, then I'll follow up with a note card. So these people get touched, the 36 touch kind of thing. I mean, everybody knows about that, but
Mhm.
I think I touch my clients way more than that. So that's just over the years, I've taken away stuff. I did magazines for a while, and I did this and that. And, but it's just the belly to belly phone calls, coffee, little note card. I get thank yous for the note cards
Yes. Yeah.
because people don't get those anymore. And so I love note cards, and I have these cute little things that I put in them. There are these like boxes, and then you put inside with your card, and it's a cute little thing that opens up, and it has a saying. So this one says thanks,
Yeah.
and you open it up, and it's a cute little unselfish acts are the real miracles out of which the reported miracles grow. Ralph Waldo Emerson. So people love these little things.
So do you
It's
mail those then or just drop them off?
Yeah, so I just put them in the post in my little note cards that I mail out.
Yeah.
It's just simple stuff.
I know.
But it takes time, and people realize that, right? And so I just got two texts this morning about a couple of my clients wanted, I need another HVAC guy. Just your resource, be a resource. It's not about calling, do you have any deals? That's
Yeah.
not it
No.
at all.
No. No.
But
It's
over time, that's what it is, right? It's just the
yeah.
database. But you do need to have also trust attorneys, fiduciaries, those kinds of people, they also bring in that extra little bump of business for you year
Yeah.
after year. You need to get those designations and things like that, but
Mhm.
you can do that over time. After 20 years, you would hope and
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
systems and things in place. So
Yeah, systems are so important. And I'll have to maybe get some more of, yeah, Brian Buffini. What was it that you said that is just like the best return that you've seen? What was
Oh,
it that you were talking?
it's called Market Trends. It's RE.
Oh, okay, yes. So what about the market trends? What do you do there?
So it's an email. So it's an email marketing that goes out, and it's like an email that you get as a, if I set you up, I'll set
Yep.
you up, and it can be based on your home address or just in general, the county or the city or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they get an email and it says what's happening around their address, and then they can play around with it. And it's the graphs are interactive. So you put in a different zip code, it shows you single family, it shows you condo townhomes, and then it gives its language about what's happening in the marketplace,
Mm-hmm.
how interest rates are affecting things. Is it hot? It's just a very interesting
Mm-hmm.
newsletter that goes out, and it's emailed out on the 6th of every month. And
Okay.
then you get a tracking every time somebody clicks on it.
Oh,
So
gotcha. Yeah.
on the 7th or 8th, I literally have 20 or 30 lists of people that are interacting, and sometimes they're interacting 5, 6 times. So guess what? Great time for a little note card. And
Mhm.
then a phone call going, hey, how's it going? What's going on with the dogs or whatever,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's just a very easy, organic way to just touch base.
Yeah, it really
But I
is.
mean, that thing is amazing. It's like $400 a year, and it's unlimited number of people that you can put in it. And it is literally the most interactive thing I've ever done.
Yeah, because I think we kind of dismiss the fact that this is what we do in our daily lives. So we're up to date for the most part on what's going on in the market, what interest rates are doing, how the election slows everything down, things along those lines. And so I think we forget like not everybody does that on a regular daily basis,
Right. Right.
So and people do want to know. They do want to know, okay, well, I thought rates came down. Well, now I had heard that they're kind of back up. Why is that? What's going on? Is that real? I mean, I think just sending out that information, that's great. I've heard of market trends. I've never purchased it before, but obviously it's sounds like something that I need to do.
All
So
my mentees do it. I mean, after they see the interaction, it's just so unusual to have such a high rate of interaction in some electronic marketing,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's another thing. It's not email marketing. Well, it is. It's marketing to realtors when you have a listing. It's called Mondo flyers. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
Okay. Most interaction, I mean, the open rate is phenomenal. Sometimes it's 20, 30%. It's
Wow.
nuts.
Wow.
They have some sort of special juju sauce in their metrics that they are able to get through all the filters, and agents open them up. It's amazing. And anyway, they're super cheap too.
And
They're
is that
called,
is that a flyer? Is that an email? Where is it
yeah,
going
it's
to?
a flyer. It's just to realtors.
Oh, to
Um,
realtors. Oh,
yeah, to
okay.
realtors. So when you have a listing, in my area, there are people that buy, they're investors, or, just people that are living in San Francisco, want to get out. They want to live closer to Google or whatever. So they want to come down the peninsula a little bit. So my marketing goes up to San Francisco all the way down to San Benito County, which is probably a good 120, 20 mile, 100,
Wow.
100 miles, because
Yeah.
people commute and they work from home, but they want to live wherever, right? So
Yeah.
my range of where my marketing goes is kind of a big area, and this does it. And however they do it, it works great, and it's not that expensive, and the interaction is amazing, and they can forward it to their clients without your branded stuff. So that's kind of cool too.
Yeah.
So that's one of the most interactive things I use for my listings. And it shows it's great traction, and you can show it to your clients to say, look at this. This is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of an aside of,
Yeah.
but that's marketing to my fellow colleagues.
Yeah, systems are a big thing. One of the two things that I do for every one of my transactions is I don't know if you've ever heard of TPMCO. I can't even remember what the whole name of it is. It's like the marketing company. I don't remember what it's called, but it's called tpmco.com is where I go. So you can do this follow-up plan. It used to be $25. I think it's $35. So every closing that you have, you just go in there, type in the address, the name, all of that, and you hit send. It'll charge you that money. And then it actually sends out two postcards and two newsletters every year. So each quarter for 5 years automatically. Yes.
That's super cool. Okay, I'm
It
writing
is
that down.
amazing. So it's called TPMCO.com. I don't remember what the cost is anymore. I have somebody else who
TPMCO.com.
does that for every one of my transactions. So every closing. Now, obviously, if it's a seller and they didn't buy with you and they're moving out of state, you'll obviously want to get their new updated address. I do it to every single one of my clients. It's like $35 for 5 years. They get 4 postcards, newsletters, amazing. And then the other thing that I
Okay,
do
interesting.
is AM cards. So anytime, especially for buyers, we have like a drip campaign thing where they get a card after 1 month in congratulations on your house at 3 months, 6 months, and then at 1 year, which I also added a gift. So they also get brownies at that point in time. So it's really nice. You just
That's
set it and
cool.
forget it.
Which one is that one?
It's called AM cards, plural.com. And it looks super simple and super basic. And what's really nice about it is like, let's say you have a past client who had a baby and you just want to send out one card. I just go in there and I put in there, you can choose, there's hundreds of different cards on there that you can choose. And then that you can attach different gifts to them if you want. So I usually do brownies. For some reason, brownies
Yeah,
seem to be what everybody loves.
yeah,
They also do gift cards, Amazon gift cards, restaurant gift cards. There's books. They have wine bottle openers. They have 24 karat gold rose. Don't know why somebody needs that, but
that's
it's on
funny.
there. So, I mean, there's so many options and I love it. So I use it a lot for like just one-offs, like a thank you for a client who met with me about potentially listing or somebody who talked to me on the phone that might be
Right.
interested, you know? So it's really nice because otherwise by the time I handwrite anything and mail it off, I'm usually procrastinating. Or I do procrastinate, and I think you could attest to this that procrastination can definitely cost you a lot of money.
Yes, it yes, it can.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
those
yeah,
are
I just
great ideas. I mean,
yeah.
it's just ideas, pop buys. This woman I know, I actually, her mom worked for me when I was in advertising. Her name's Peggy Ura, and she has the site called Pop Buys. I think it's popbuys.com.
I've
She's in Sacramento. And so she just has these great little ideas, dollar store ideas to pop by. And I did those for years.
yes.
Um, and it's awesome. She's got the cutest little ideas. She shares ideas from other agents. So, and a great way to do things very inexpensively and get in your car and just drive around and do your pop buys. It's really great.
Yeah. And I think one thing, especially as an agent, just in general, we get very caught up on the shiny object syndrome,
Yeah,
squirrel, I like to call it too, that you don't always know what's the right decision, you know, and
right.
everything seems to get overwhelming because you have this and you have that and this cost and that cost, and you want to keep your business going. Um, but it's just kind of just one of the things that my attorney always tells me is kiss, Shay, keep it simple, stupid.
Absolutely. And you know what? Do not spend until you have the money. Do
Mhm.
not buy that
Yes.
fancy thing. Do not subscribe to this fancy thing.
No.
Do the simple things, the things that you can afford. And once you start selling and building up your coffer, use your whatever you're going to use for your 30% for your marketing or whatever it is you're going to do. There's a lot of opportunity out there to do it very inexpensively.
Yeah. Can you imagine if other businesses ran businesses the way successful entrepreneur or realtors do? You know, could you imagine getting a thank you and a touch point from your contractor who did a job for you, you know, years ago? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think if everybody implemented the strategies that realtors use, and it doesn't need to be all of them, because obviously there's a difference in income when it comes to all of that stuff. But if I hire a contractor and he sent me a thank you card, you know, a week, 2 weeks, a month later, whatever it is, I'd be like, wow, that was
I
amazing.
know, right?
Yeah, yeah. But that's usually men. No offense, men. Love you all. But they don't think like that. They don't think
Yeah.
about the relationship
Mm-mm.
they think about like contractual, like that's the job,
Yeah,
move on, go on
exactly.
to the
Yep,
next.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I was telling a friend of mine. I'm like, you need to like, people don't remember what you did
I
or
know.
you said to them. They remember how you made them feel for the most part.
Mhm.
And that sounds silly, especially in a man's mind. But if you just stay in touch with your past clients, that's where the bread and butter is at.
Absolutely. And then you add your other things like your trust attorneys, fiduciaries, divorce attorneys, accountants, those people, those referrals will also start coming in, and that will also help you. And believe it or not, because they're all on my pop or my client giant, the attorneys and those people, and they get their little cute thing that they get every quarter, and I get a call, hey, thank you so much, don't we have not forgotten about you, and next one, you'll get, which is not the point. I just
Yeah.
want them to know that I think of them and appreciate them as a professional partner.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. So, okay. Well, Kimberly, I got a question. If
Yep.
there was one piece of advice you could give to your younger self, or maybe somebody starting out, what would that advice be?
I would say, starting out, so prep, knowing what you're going into. So I mean, I kind of knew what I was going into because I started this when I was 40.
Mhm.
So, or 42, I guess I was 42 when I started in real estate. So I had a lot of life experience and advertising marketing experience behind me. So I kind of knew what I was getting into, but I see people come into this business, and they do not do their background. Read a book about real estate, read the top selling books in real estate so you understand what it takes. Understand business planning. Oh, this is one thing. I had business plans my entire career for all of my, you know, I had to have a business plan, but I got into real estate and I didn't start a business plan right away. And I think it took me like 3 years to finally understand, like, business plan, whatever. I did that in my other career. And when I sat down and did my business plan, and folks, it doesn't have to be the huge, if you're in another career, those can take months and months and months to do. This is down and dirty. And let me know, I can send you a worksheet if you don't have one,
Love
or
it.
I'm
Yeah.
sure, I'm sure
If
Shay
you
has one too.
would, for
Yeah.
sure.
So it's super easy. But until I did that, I literally wrote my business plan. And the next year, I doubled my business because I had it in my mind of what I wanted to do. And I remembered the sources of potential lead sources and the different ways to get those leads and all those kinds of things that came front of mind. And then I put, things like on my whiteboard, I put, my goals or whatever. There's everybody has their own way of doing things, and not one way is right. Um, and so I would say, write your business plan, have your plan set. So we'll start doing it this month in October, and have your business plan ready to rock and roll and start working on 2025 right now, because you're always 1 to 2 quarters. Your business, comes to fruition, and it takes about 6 to, whatever, 3 to 6 months for those things to come to fruition. But I'd say business plan, I'd write it right away.
Mhm.
And I literally doubled my business. And I had that whole aha moment where I went, now I get it, right? I'm doing my thing thinking, hey, I'm all that. I'm a professional woman. I came from this whatever, and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do it. And then when I realized, oh, that's the one thing that was missing,
Mhm.
okay, that's my piece of advice. Write your business
Yeah,
plan. It's very simple.
it is simple. So yeah, if you have that worksheet, I would love to take a look at it and then to share
Yeah.
with our listeners as well.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
A podcast that I heard this morning was, or a saying that I heard this morning while I was working out is, sight is for the present, where vision is for the future. I was
Mhm.
like, oh, I like that. So it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you could send that over to me, and we'll make sure to attach it, or our listeners can reach out. If I'm not able to attach a link or anything, would love to be able to share that with people because yeah, I mean, I think it's very, very, very important to have a vision board and to have a business plan. And especially starting out, you don't need to get too in depth with it. Keep it
Mm-mm.
simple, just like
Keep it
everything else.
simple.
Keep it simple, stupid. So,
Absolutely. Yep. And part of that, there is a process to go through to get to filling out that 1 or 2 sheets. And that is really thinking about what your goals are, your short-term goals, next 3 years, 3 to 5 years,
mhm.
short-term goals. Then what are your, 10 plus years? Then what does your future look like? And so how do those goals fit into that? And also take in mind, if you have a family, and I think I shared this with Shay, when we were talking about what we were going to talk about. And I said to her, or I put it in the email that I sent her, was, don't forget that your real estate business I mean, I know if you're the sole support of your family and things like that, it is the most important thing. But also, if you have kids, just remember it is super important, but you also need to not make that the most important thing, which is a really hard thing to do as
Very.
an entrepreneur.
And when you're goal oriented and you're a high D or a high I,
Yeah,
it's very hard but we also have to remember the reason we're doing these things is typically for our kids and for our family.
right. And at the end of
I
the
struggle
day,
daily.
right? At the end of the day, they're like, well, all I remember is you worked a lot. And you're like, oh, that's not what the point was, right? The point was so that we could go on vacation together, whatever. Yeah, but I remember you worked a lot. And then we went on vacation. You're like, "Ah, okay, needs to be reworked a little bit."
Yeah, that's a good point. Because I think if you ask my kid, they'll say like mom works all the time.
Yeah,
And in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm working so we could do the things that we want to do.
exactly.
So it's a very vicious cycle. It really
It
I love work. I love my job, but I love my
is.
kids. It is tough, but it's tough. Like tomorrow, what is today? Wednesday. So in 2 days, I'm going with my son on his field trip. And at first I'm like, oh, I have so much to do, but I'm like, nope, I'm going. I committed. I
Yep.
told him I would. That's what we're
Big
doing.
rock.
Now
That's
I'm
your
probably
big
going to
rock,
work a little
right?
bit, but I'm, yeah. So that's just how it is. So you got to
It
prioritize,
is.
prioritize your priorities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
Yes.
think, yeah. So anyway, business plan is what, yeah, that's
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so Kimberly, if somebody or if our listeners are listening to this and they want to get a hold of you, or if somebody's looking to buy or sell in your area, how can they get in touch with you?
so you can email me at first letter of my name, K, and my last name, Leal at kw.com. It's very simple. Or my phone number is 408-394-8595. And my website's super simple too. It's kimlealrealtor.com. Very simple.
See, keep it simple, right? Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kimberly, for being here and sharing your wealth of knowledge. I'm excited for this to launch and have people
Yeah.
listen to it.
Thanks, Shay. It was very fun to be on your program.
Yes, thank you. And that wraps up another inspiring episode of the Real Moms Podcast. A huge thank you to our incredible guests for sharing their story and insights today. If you found value in today's conversation, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And hey, sharing is caring, right? Share this podcast with your fellow mompreneurs, friends, and anyone who you feel could use a dose of inspiration. Share it on your social media as well. But most importantly, if you found this episode helpful, please, please, please leave me a 5-star review. This helps get our information out to those who have never heard or seen us before. Are you feeling inspired and you're sure that you could add some value to the podcast? Shoot me a message and let's talk. We love hearing from you. So connect with us on social media. Tag me at Shay J Spitz. That's SHAEJ SPITZ. And share your thoughts and takeaways, or even suggest topics you'd like to have us explore more in the future episodes. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. Your resilience is your strength, and your pursuit of abundant living is truly remarkable. As always, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep embracing the beautiful chaos of being a mompreneur. Until next time, take care, stay real, and keep living abundantly.